So since we are created like God in our creation, that means we are co-creators just like God. So we are the source of creation. The energy that creates the world are our ideas, right? Our ideas have validity. It has energy. It has actuality in itself, because we are the source of creation, just like God is the source of creation. We and all of nature are ideas of God, right? And just like God, we have ideas that we put into the world to co-create our world. We are a part of the all that contains the all, right? So when we say energy has no beginning or end, when we create ideas, we are the birthplace of that idea. That energy has no beginning because we have no beginning. That energy springs out of the energy that is eternal within us, right? But it's still our creation. It's our ideas are still part of our creation. When we think about something or we have an original thought, we don't know where that thought comes from, right? We're like, where does that thought come from? It comes from us. We are the birthplace of it. We are creators. God is the creator of the all, and we have that same power to create our all, to create our life. And our ideas, what we believe, what we create, have so much power because it is energetically eternal. And this is why the beliefs about ourselves and about the world are so important. We are literally speaking our life into form. Or if you don't want to say speaking, we're thinking our life into form. We're believing our life into form. We're creating our life into form. In the beginning, there was the word. And the only reason why it's the beginning is because it's springing out from us. We are creation. We are that beginning. We are one with God, right? So in the beginning of creation, there was the word. We are living our own creations. We are the beginning because this is where life is springing from. Yet we are eternal, right? So our creations are original. That's why they are the beginning. But the energy has always been there. The energy is springing from us through the will, which is that God creator energy within us that has no limits. So although energy has no beginning or end, we have the ability to transform energy into other things, right? So that's why getting to know the self and getting free from the ego is so important, because original thought is the extension of self. Our ideas don't just come from us and just cut off from who we are, right? We are connected to our ideas just like we're still connected to God. We're ideas, we're the creation of God, yet we're still connected to God. The all of God is contained in us. And the same is for our creation, right? We extend just like the extension of God. So just like we were created and God extended us and in love, right? And we're our own creation, we're our own energy, we're our own idea, right? We do the same thing with our ideas, and we have original thought. When we create things, it extends from us, but it's not just cut off. We're a part of that extension. You know what I'm saying? We are expanding ourselves. But when we cut ourselves off from that, when we live through the ego, we are impeding our natural tendency to extend, right? We believe that we are just this one thing. We believe that we are temporary. We believe we don't understand the fullness of our being. So we impede our extension. With the ego, we think to have is to get. The ego believes that it's deprived, so it believes it needs to get everything from the outside world. But with the higher self knows that it has everything. And to have is to give, right? To have is extension, because the fullness of our being overflows from us, right? In our ideas, in our creation. So our life, our natural tendency, our natural ability, our natural flow of life is to extend. To have is to extend your ideas, to extend in the creation of self. As we're living through the ego, we're not extending through the self. We're extending through a state of lovelessness, right? So it's a state of nothingness, right? Because nothing's outside of love. Nothing is outside of love, which is God. You know what I'm saying? So we're extending this fear, and fear has no value to it. It has no validity. It is nothing, So we're not extending at all. We're not connected to we're not focused on our own self and our own extension at all. We are stuck and becoming more confused. So we suffer as a result, rather than expanding in love and growing in love, growing in the self, growing in extension, growing and sharing our love with each other. We suffer because we're living in this stuck state of the ego. If all we're worried about is getting, there is no extension of self. There is no expansion of self. So we're stopping our progress. We're stopping our awakening. We're stopping our expansion to become stuck in repetitive cycles, right? Original thought is not valued within the ego, right? We're supposed to conform. We're supposed to be like everybody else. So our original thought is not valued. Our original creation is not valued. So we're stifled beings, right? We're not expanding. We're not living in our true nature. In our true nature, our natural function is like a fingerprint, right? We were made uniquely by God. Even though we're connected, we're the same in terms of what we are in our creation. We are unique, and to know our function is to know our uniqueness. So when we're living through the ego and we're living just like everybody else, we are not connected to that uniqueness. We're not connected to our purpose. We are meant to live and grow within our individuality. It's like our identity is caged. So when we live within this greed, when we focus on getting rather than extension, rather than giving in love, right? We focus on getting. We hoard, we impede the expansion of self.